Hey guys, so this is going to serve as the video talking about the monthly channel update as I talk about what happened in April and what we're going to go for in May. So I apologize the weird upload time this video is going to have, but it's because I'm doing some algorithm experimentation on YouTube, and I want to get this information out to you, but I can't find where to put this video because of what we're doing. So let me explain what we've been working on in April, what's happened, and what we're going for. So in April, YouTube decided to crash my viewership down to what it considered my optimal level based on previous data. So with some experimentation, I've been able to find out that YouTube takes your information from, in terms of analytics and whatnot, and they take that from the previous year. And I was able to determine this through 3 of my channels and looking into a few other channels, and mainly by seeing that my income for the VOD channel, which I only started recently doing, wasn't able to collect any new data, but a different analytic on the Shenanigans channel was actually collecting data, and it just hit the year point. And YouTube was making comparisons based off of that one analytic, like everything else on my channel, but on the previous one, because it didn't have, even though it had a few months worth, it wasn't a full year's worth. And I didn't notice those analytics until recently, which was when it hit that year-long mark. So YouTube, with that information, decided to crash my viewership on the main channel, going from 75 to 60K views a month down to, I think the lowest it got in April was 18. So I've been scrambling to basically amend that and see how can I correct that. It's going to be a while because it pulls from the previous year, but how can I still get ahead here? So I've been able to get YouTube up to, right now it's about 35 to 40K views a day after 2 weeks of doing a lot of work through completely rebranding the channel tags, changing the upload times, and structuring them so they're ready to go. Everything is front logged on the channel at a 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 3 p.m. upload time. And I've been able to basically, climb out of that hole that YouTube's trying to throw at me. And we also brought shorts back and put them on the 9 a.m. slot. I know people weren't really happy with that, but I had to, because that's a really nice way to bounce you back in the algorithm's eyes, and then I can do some other stuff to maintain it. But this month for YouTube, I'm going to first, for the next 2 weeks, give or take, for May, focus on a 2 upload-a-day system, working off of a tip from a different YouTuber, and also going off some data that I collected as my analytics were sliding off. Because what would happen was I would, lose like 5, 10K views a day, and then I'd get, depressed about it because, I'm watching my life kind of collapse before my eyes, and instead of uploading 3 to 4 videos a day, I'd only do 2, and I'd do that for a few days because I'd just focus on Arma and other stuff. And those periods of time where it was like, 2 to 3 days, I'd only upload 2 videos, it would actually reverse the fall. So the one I like to look at, like it stopped at like 30 to 25K views, and then I only uploaded 2 videos a day, and it climbed back up to 30, and then I started, uploading again because I got my confidence back. I would upload 3 or 4, and it would, keep it going. It would bounce up to 40 and then start dropping off again. So I think there's a little secret there to only uploading 2 a day. And I started it yesterday, and already I'm seeing today, like, just, a quick bounce up. It jumped me from 35 to 40K. And I want to see if there's a method to that madness. And I'm thinking with when I'm uploading this video, there was something interesting that happened. One of my shorts didn't upload at 9 a.m. Instead, it glitched out and uploaded at midnight. But my viewership stayed really strong throughout midnight in the evening hours, which normally my viewership falters off. So I want to see if uploading this video will have any side effects, or maybe it's just a short thing. But I'll be trying to do some experimentations with that as well to maximize my viewership, because that in turn is tied to my revenue. Even though I will admit shorts aren't the best way to go for doing revenue, because the money you would make off of shorts is really, really bad. But if we're only uploading 2 a day, then you'll probably see shorts done a lot less often, probably at most 3 or 4 a week. Probably 3, but I'll keep it to highlights instead. That way I can still get some, good Zeus videos out for the second upload. But we'll be experimenting with that, and if it is going to confirm what I think it is, then I'm going to have a massive surplus of content. What I'm thinking about doing with it at that point is every 2 weeks on the weekend, I will just do a content bomb. And for the entirety of the weekend, back to back, just upload things like I sometimes do with my VOD channel. So if a video is 2 hours, we'll schedule it for 9 o'clock, and then the next video will go up at 11, and that one's 2.5. So then the next one will go up at 1:30, and we'll just do a massive content bomb. And I need to see how YouTube's algorithm treats that. But I think if you only do it in a short burst, like what I mentioned earlier, I would upload again, 3 to 4 times a day after doing bursts of 2 videos, because YouTube would bounce it back up. There was a point where YouTube would still shoot me up and then drop me again if I made it constant. So I'm thinking, maybe I could work that to my advantage. But that's what YouTube's going to focus on for this month, is really messing with the algorithm and trying to see if I can maximize the viewership I can get in order to grow everything, because I need to keep the channel growing or else it's going to peter off and die. And now that I'm kind of tying my life to this, I don't really have a choice here. By the way, a few of you asked what happened to the job that I took part-time. Turns out that was just for a checkbox for COVID money for a company to have, and after 4 weeks they told me to stop working. So I was offered a full-time position, but again, if I ever take a full-time position, Liru essentially becomes a, upload once every 4 days sort of hobby, and the other 2 channels will peter up. So, it's sink or swim at this point with the analytics and whatnot. So that's YouTube out of the way. Twitch, I'm going to be doing some small little content updates for. First and foremost, I've decided I'm not going to do any sort of professional overlays, because I just want to focus on Arma itself. But if we start going into other games, then maybe. But that's a few months away, so we don't have to worry about it. Emotes, I have a plan to get some emotes to everyone by the end of this month. I actually have a list. Barbarian and I were looking through Fiverr to get a few artists here, and hopefully I should have those to you by the end of this month. And then channel point stuff, I have a list of a few things I'm going to add for spending channel points on, because we're going to do predictions for Friday Night Fight stuff and Thursday PvP commentaries, and occasionally a few of the Zeus videos, so we'll get that sorted by the end of the month as well. I just want to wait till I finish something IRL, which, it's a weird reason of why it's tied to that, but it's a personal thing, so I don't want to get too far into that. But otherwise, Twitch, I intend to just, renovate a little bit, add some more things for you guys, and we'll keep going with Twitch. But Twitch is it's not tied to YouTube, but it kind of follows YouTube. So if YouTube goes well, Twitch then a month later will go well to kind of match the rises and the falls. So if I keep YouTube good, Twitch will be good by proxy. But I also know I used to be a little worried about Twitch, but now I'm not so much, because I've done a lot of research on YouTube streaming, and if I ever get Twitch banned, I can still go to YouTube and stream, and YouTube will heavily favor you in the algorithm if you stream on their platform. So I've already, in terms of the budget I need to make for the channel, when everything was going really well, because YouTube let me off the leash a bit because I hit 100,000K and I got, access to a silver play button. We'll talk about that in a second. But, they let my channel actually perform without any throttling on the algorithm, and that's why we were able to do so well in, March and April. So if I were to stream, I know that I can, get to those levels, because the amount of money I made was slightly over my allocated budget, which is, my I can breathe easy budget. But it's good to know that that's a thing, and that I don't have to worry if Twitch, decides to randomly ban me, because they told me if I get banned again, it's permanent. But at that point, I'll just move platforms and we'll be A-okay. So that's great. It's great to have, great to know. But I do intend to keep Twitch going until that time happens anyway. So with all that said, let's focus now on Arma content. So Arma's a little bit of an interesting debacle right now because TSB has a lot of people who are currently burnt out. So this month I'm going to focus on more exotic styles of Arma 3 gameplay. And as a general concept, we're going to focus on more horror-esque missions and some more exotic styles of warfare. Here, let me tab out here and get a list, because I just made a massive list with some of my guys about, older styles of warfare that won't require a lot of communication and coordination, allows TSB to do blob tactics, but so people can just pew-pew their guns and have fun instead of having to focus on coordinating and, doing a bunch of stuff that, a lot of people don't like to do, and it just ties to communication, unfortunately. But let's see, there's my workstation. So, Boer Wars, Zulu War, Invasion of Hawaii, Spanish-American War, Pursuit of Panchova, Cuba/Bay of Pigs, Russian-Japanese War / Assault on Port Arthur, Cambodia-Vietnamese Invasion, Raid on Ent. That's not how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. I might have forgotten an I. Nigerian Civil Wars, the 1970s Mercs. 1945 Cold War goes hot. ATF raid on Vietnam vets. We put that as a joke. And then any war on drugs across the world. And then even the Georgian Civil War was also an idea. And they also gave me a few MCO ideas as well. But I don't know which of those we're going to do yet, but you'll probably see those on Mondays because I'm wrapping up the Arab-Israeli thing, the mini-campaign today. But let me do a day-by-day breakdown for what we're going to be doing on the channel. So Sundays, it's going to be a 3-week rotation of 2 weeks of Syndicate campaign for the public op mod set, just to, have fun again, go and pew-pew your guns, and a T3 operation. I wasn't able to get to the Namalsk thing this weekend because of Greek Easter. I had to go and deal with that, so we have that to still finish, and then T3 stuff, I'll ask them what they want, and I'll Zeus for them, depending on what they want. So the third week, though, will be dedicated to MCOs. So the latest one, which I just released yesterday, it's a Mujahideen operation. Players are going to be, it's a 92-person Soviet operation, and it's going to mainly be a pilot rescue, but there's plenty of secondary objectives as well. And that document, it's mostly finished, but I still have to finish, I think, the bottom third of just some logistics stuff and some breakdowns and whatnot. But we already have groups reserving, and we'll see that one in a few weeks. And then the MCO after that, which I think will either be at the end of May or the earliest week of June, will be a Soviets versus Germans op, and I think the players will be Germans. So that'll be cool, but we're getting in the, the gear for doing an MCO once every 3 weeks. I might bring it down to 2 weeks, but that might take me another month to get the logistics on that. So with that sorted, we have Mondays, which we're finishing Arab-Israeli for this week. It's going to be a defensive holdout operation, which will eventually go one life, and then we're also doing the gate operation today. So that'll be after the Arab-Israeli op. And then for Mondays, we're going to focus on, all the concepts I just said, as well as doing exotic stuff. So maybe some Terminator stuff. The Minecraft op we'll see next week. I've got 2 Minecraft operations ready to go, actually. They just need to be tested. One of them specifically for frames, because the amount of blocks I have can be seen as a little laggy, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Tuesdays, we're going to keep doing stuff with House Aiden, so Mandalorian stuff, making random campaigns for them with some horror elements, some actually probably not the open world stuff, but it's a big proactive storyline going, so that'll be nice. And Tuesdays, we'll also be doing stuff with Goon Squad, which I did an SCP op and then some PMC stuff for. Or OFCRA has some small-scale PvP stuff. We saw that with Warhammer 40k last month, so that should be nice. Wednesdays will be, what do we got? The 506 late at night, either Cherry Zeusing Star Wars stuff, or I'm Zeusing a new horror-esque campaign. So if you like the Born Home incident, this is basically the Born Home incident on crack. With a lot more interesting story elements, but a lot of horror elements as well. I'm also reserving it as my bi-weekly TSB 630 slot is going to focus on some horror stuff as well. So we did the remaster of 343 Guilty Spark last time. I've got another Flood-style horror mission to do, But between that, I might have another op I want to grab as well, but I haven't determined what it is yet. But there's only going to be 2 of those ops every month, but I want them to focus on horror or something, exotic, because again, TSB's dealing with some burnout. So with that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have on Wednesday, but I can't recall it because I have a shoddy memory right now. But Thursday, you got OFCRA PvP in the afternoon, followed by Paw Patrol stuff, which they want to do a World War II style operation. No, that's not the way to say it, but they're basically doing World War II right now. So right now it's Anzacs versus Italians in Ethiopia, but that can branch out to a few other things depending on what they want. One of them is the Sino-Japanese War, which, ironically enough, there's a mod in development right now that's being developed by the guy that used to run the TIOW Warhammer 40k mod, and way back when he also made the My Little Pony mod, which he doesn't like that I bring up all the time, but he refuses to pass it out anymore, and he purged it from the internet, and I want that mod back, but that's besides the point. So when that mod gets publicly released, I will switch Paw Patrol to that, because that's what they want to do. And there will also probably be an MCO made with that framework as well. They're just making as much content as they can for it before they publicly release it. So, and then we have TMTM at 10 p.m. I try to join those when I can, but if the server starts having issues and we all get kicked, I usually leave, because by then it's too late. Fridays, we're still doing FNF, EU, and NA branch, but I will start probably leaving after the second round of NA, because by then it's like 10:30 or 11, and I want to go to bed, man. And then Saturdays are still going to be left to house hunting. I will say, Bloodway and I, we found another place. We have a bid on it going up later today. This will technically be our second bid, because the second bid we were going to do, we pulled out of last second because of something she disagreed with but I didn't. That caused the whole debacle. But otherwise, Saturdays are going to still be committed to doing house hunting stuff, and once that finishes, I'm still going to just reserve it for editing channel footage and doing other stuff. But otherwise, stuff that isn't scheduled week to week or bi-weekly that will start coming up, though, is first, more Among Us game nights. No ETA on when they'll be done. It'll just be when I feel like it. But I would say once every 1 to 2 weeks on random weekdays. Gary's mod will be doing once every 1 to 2, potentially 3 weeks on Sunday nights. Going back into CCO, for those of you that remember the 6-hour hell from CCO 7 and 8, this one is mainly a PvP plus E, or technically a PvE plus P, where it's basically 8, they're not Zeus's, but if you've ever played Arma 2 Warfare, where you spawn at a base and you can like spawn AI to help you and stuff, it's basically that. So it's 100 players. I'm going to be second platoon command. I've brought a squad in of TSB guys, and we're going to be fighting 8 guys that are actively bringing the AI in and setting them up for us to fight, and there will be some minor PvP elements as well. So that'll be really cool. That is coming up on a Saturday, I think in 2 weeks, give or take. And what else do we have? I want to get into Star Wars Squad Mod, but random little petty shit keeps coming up, and that's annoying. Oh, some unboxings. We're going to do some unboxings. I did mention the silver play button earlier. That's actually on its way. They told me 2 to 3 weeks. Might be earlier, might be later. But I've got 2 unbox concepts I want to do. One of them involves getting some voice work done by a guy who's willing to work with me. He's an old friend of mine. And there's also a new project idea in the works. For those who don't know what that is, a project is something I dignify as something that's going to take me weeks to make. So, the original Born Home campaign was originally a project. That was when they only took a few hours of work, but these days, projects take a long time. So the one of the ones I like to brag about was the 2 or 3 project that stemmed from all the zombie framework stuff we did with the 506 and TSB. Where I had to basically make a shit ton of random table arrays and whatnot. This is going to be a personal project, though. It's still going to officially be called a project because it is Arma related, and I will put the VODs of it on the VOD channel, but I don't think I'll make any main content out of. But it's basically going to take Warhammer 40k Dungeons and Dragons style elements for There Is Only War, which is what the book is called, and make an Arma 3 playable version of it. and a lot of it's homebrewed, but there is a way to do it, and I've got a few people that want to play something like that, so we're gonna run it and see what the heck happens. But I don't think I'm gonna stream it, because I don't want to entertain a stream while I be a dungeon master for something like that. And if I do, I won't interact with the stream, but maybe I'll stream one just to see what happens, depending on what I have planned, but we'll see. That'll be a once every 2 or 3 weeks thing on Saturdays. Probably 3 weeks, though, because stuff like that is going to be insane to prep, but I'll figure that out. In terms of anything else, nothing comes to mind. I mean, really, this month is going to focus on doubling down on YouTube to try to focus on what makes the algorithm truly tick, and then exploiting it to the best of my ability. And just focusing on more exotic concepts for Arma 3, keeping up the MCO stuff, trying CCO again. Oh, Wacky Races will be sometime this month. I've been saying it for the past few weeks that we're going to do it. I originally wanted to do it earlier this month, but a few other things came up, like CCO, that I have to prep for, so it's going to be more of a mid-month thing, because we are trying to do some pay-for-pain style event every month. Which, by the way, it will be pay-for-pain, so if you want to smite a certain person, you're going to be allowed to, but that way it'll branch out what we do as like a quote-unquote pay-for-pain style event. I'm thinking Impossible Ops can be pay-for-pain style. Wacky Races or something that the players, build their own stuff can be made pay-for-pain style. And then, of course, you have your classic standard pay-for-pain where you pay for, what I throw at them and we annihilate the heck out of them. But that's also a way for me to raise money because... Bloodwing wants to buy a townhouse right now, and the market is kind of crazy, and we're probably going to overpay a little bit, but, the closer I can pay those mortgage payments off, the better, so that is that, and I think that should be it for talking about everything that happened and talking about what we're planning to do. Just a reminder, hate to shill, but I kind of need to. If you're ever a Twitch sub or on the Patreon, I give weekly announcements every Sunday to talk about, how last week went, what we're going to go for this week. So if you want to be more in tune with what I do, there is always that as an option. Or, if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can comment on this video, or you can reach out to me directly. I do have an open door policy. You don't have to assume I'm too busy to respond to you. Because simply put, if I am at the time, I won't, but I will try to get back to you in 24 hours. And I've always been like that. Unless you're someone I don't want to talk to, and there are a few out there, but that's because I've already talked to them and I know who they are and blah, blah, blah. But otherwise, yeah, that should be it. I will say I'm a lot less stressed about this stuff now that I know that if I were to push YouTube with streaming and whatnot, I could still make enough money to be on my budget. And even then, I mean, with 3 YouTube channels, one making most of the money, but, the other 2 giving a little bit extra, with Patreon back up in the 500 range and Twitch being okay for what it is, and I'm making about 4 to 5K a month, I think I'll be okay, because my budget's at like 4, but, I mean... the place I live is a very expensive place to live, and I can't get out of this place because Bloodwing wants to stay local because of a Greek family and whatnot. So with all of that taken care of, yeah, no, I think we're good. Everything should be a-okay, and hopefully none of these will be super stressful announcement videos anymore, where I'm literally talking about shutting the channel down because I have to switch professions and whatnot. So. Really, it's because of all of you guys that this has been possible through, whether it be watching a video or joining a stream or, subbing, doing something on Patreon or donating it. That's what's kept me afloat. And I seriously thank you for it, because we're at that cusp on YouTube where we're big enough to be, somewhat famous, but we're still small enough to where we're not making anything substantial, So, it's make ends meet, which I'm perfectly fine to do. I just want to make sure I'm not stressed out, because if Bloodwing ever sees the finances are being stressed, she'll kill me. Throw me off of a balcony or something. I don't know. We'll make it dramatic. Who the heck knows? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. go operate operationally. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, there's the comment section, or you can just DM me directly on Discord. I don't care. But otherwise, cheers, have a good one, and I'll see you next month, and hopefully it'll be better. Who the heck knows at this rate? Okay, so this video was supposed to go up last night, but I was lazy and I didn't put it up because I was working with like 5 other people after ops, and then I had to go out with Bloodwing to get chicken nuggies from Chick-fil-A, yada and I have to now add this addendum because my Saturday is just freed up because we don't have to look for townhouses anymore because the one we bid on over the weekend, we somehow won out of like all of these other bids. I'm recording this at 10 a.m. I literally just woke up like an hour ago and got the call like 10 minutes later. So, okay. June 3rd is the estimated, like, close date, so I have from now till then just to kind of relax. There's a lot of forms I gotta sign. We're doing an appraisal, all this other stuff, but, yeah, so Saturdays are free now, but around the June 3rd area, I'm probably gonna be really busy moving stuff in and then budgeting things with Bloodwing, but, I mean... Damn, like, that's the cooking videos I want to do, the gardening videos I want to do, the mead making videos, that can all get started now, next month. Holy shit. Yeah, that's very important to add to this channel update to say, hey, this is like the last month of what I consider normal before we move into a new level of normal. Yeah. Yeah. So, fuck, this video is already too long. So, next month's channel update video is probably gonna be something, a little different. So, it might take a few days, though, so it might be a little past the 3rd of, June, but... I have a really cool idea for how to make that video. But otherwise, thank you for listening. Go operate operationally. This is the real one, I swear. Literally, I'm going to reprocess this video after this finishes and go schedule it in the main channel. But cheers. Have a good one. Go operate operationally.